Welcome to the sandwich generation, where you and I are stuck in the middle between our kids and grandkids and our parents and our grandparents, and we're just trying to make it okay. Today we've got a little bit of a tough subject, but we can all hang in there for the greater good. We're going to talk about how not everyone is super excited during the holidays because they've lost a loved one. Let's dig in. So, most of us during our lifetime have lost a loved one of some sort, but it seems like the closer that loved one is to you in the pecking order of things, the harder it is to handle. And I think we can all agree with that, right? But whenever it hits you really close to home, like it's a parent or it's your spouse, that's a really tough turn. And the holidays turn into something that you don't want to be around. And I have experience with that. When my husband passed away, it had been this big, traumatic whirlwind of drama for a couple of years. And even though I felt that grief and relief that they call it, that thank goodness all the crazy has stopped, it still leaves you with a gaping hole for that person that you love. Those first few years without him were unimaginably difficult. There was nothing that could have prepared me for that. And, different people handle things in different ways, but especially around the holidays, it was particularly devastating. So if we had a big family gathering going on and everyone's talking and they're all in different rooms and we're eating and we're visiting, I tend to stay on the outside edges. I tend to stay where I can stay quiet, because when it first happens to you, I didn't even have words. I didn't have anything that would come out of my mouth that would be acceptable to say. And I'm sharing all this with you because I want you to know that if it's happened to you, first of all, you're not alone. And in our sandwich generation, we start losing our parents. And you may be this year in a place where you have lost, say, your dad, and now all of a sudden your mom's been thrown into assisted living because he was really helping take care of her. And if you're one of those people, I just want you to know how you are not alone, how many people this has happened to. And while you will never get over losing a parent, you will get to a place where at least you can function properly. And I hope you get there sooner than later, but I just needed to share that little tidbit with you. So now on the flip side, let's say you're a friend of that person. If you're a friend of someone who has lost a very significant person in their life this year, be extra gentle. One of the things that helped me more than anything in the world was my nieces. They would just come over and hug me, and we didn't even talk. They would just hug me and let me hold on to them for a minute. And that's all I can convey at that point. Don't underestimate that, especially in this year of COVID where we're not really getting to hug a lot. If you are in a situation where you can actually hug someone who's hurting, please do so. Because the people that have lost loved ones during COVID have had the worst experience with losing someone. People who have lost someone during this COVID crisis, they probably didn't have a funeral for their loved one. They may have cremated their loved one when they had been planning for the big, huge funeral with the casket and the whole thing all this time. They were planning on the day that they lost their parent, that you would be there at the funeral service with them, that there would be people crawling all over the house showing how much they loved your mother and there to give you food and there to give you support and all this kind of thing. And I have talked to so many families this year who have lost a loved one in the middle of the COVID crisis, and none of that is happening. And the word they keep saying over and over to me is that it feels like mom or dad just vaporized, like they never existed. And that is a horrible, sick feeling if you're the one on the front lines of that pain. So I implore you, if you have a friend or a family member who has lost a loved one this year, reach out to them in any way that's appropriate. Let them know how much you care. Share how much you enjoyed their loved one. Share neat stories. Give them a little piece of closure because it has been such a messy year. Okay, I know this was a tough subject, but I really appreciate you hanging in there and watching. So if you're still with me and you made it to the end, let's stop for just a minute. Let's think all these things through. If you need anything whatsoever, my information's in the description below. Give me a call. Thanks for watching.